with another YouTube video, Philly Phanatic Dudes. It is the host, Gavin, and the co-host, Jeb. We would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button and please give us a like on the video. Thank you. I think going forward, the Eagles are going to look at this past week's game against the Commanders, and they're going to look at what caused the two fumbles that Gainwell gave up. So I think going forward, the Eagles are going to give the ball to DeAndre Swift in the future in the red zone because he has more power and he can control the ball better, keep the ball tucked in a better position so the defense won't be able to punch it out. So I think going forward, they're just going to rely on Swift more with those carries because they know that he's a stronger ball carrier and is more physical. So I think this week, defensively for the Eagles, I think Darius Slay is going to have the biggest impact for them. I think he's going to have a tough workload ahead of him, having to cover CeeDee Lamb as a cornerback. I think he's gonna struggle at times, but he's gonna have to really focus on playing tight coverage on him. He can't lay off him since he has a lot of speed and he has a lot of different ways he can go about catching the football. I mean, last week CeeDee Lamb had 12 catches for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. So you can tell from that week to week that CeeDee Lamb, he's a very up and down player. He has some big games. Meanwhile, other games, he's a little more ice cold catching the ball. So I think with the Eagles' defense, in particular their secondary, I think the biggest key to success going forward is just not having too many missed tackles. Because I think this past week against the Commanders, when they gave up 31 points, they were just off about tackling. They were like missing tackles. The defense wasn't sure what look they were supposed to be in, based off of what the offense was trying to do. And I think in general this past week the Commanders had more time of possession with 31 minutes, a little more than 31 minutes. So I think the Eagles defense was a little bit gassed at parts of the game, which just you could tell that by watching the game when the players were struggling and they were making Sam Howell look like an MVP out there. I mean, he's an okay quarterback, but he's not the type of quarterback that usually puts up big numbers like he had this past week with throwing over 300 passing yards. And he got out of the pocket a couple times and picked up a couple of first downs by running the ball. So I think that's biggest key going forward. Something I'm most excited to see for the Eagles taking on the Cowboys this Sunday, their biggest rival, is going to be watching Jalen Hurts. I'm excited to see him throw deep balls to A.J. Brown, throw a little underneath to Devontae Smith, get him some yardage, which he hasn't received the last couple weeks because the focus has been more on A.J. Brown. And one other thing I'm looking forward to is just Hurts escaping the pocket and picking up rushing yards, picking up first downs from rushing the ball, and overall just seeing how Jalen Hurts plays ball. I mean, he's just a tough competitor. He just goes out there every week and he puts forth his best effort and really motivates the team. He always gives motivational speeches before most home games and he just fires them up. It all starts with Hurts, and I'm excited to see that this week. I think Hurts has grown a lot this year as a passer. I think he's learned that you can just take what the defense gives you sometimes. You don't have to always be looking for those deep balls and be looking for those hard throws. Sometimes you can just throw a little 5 to 10 yard easy slant and just get it in the hands of your best playmakers to give them the biggest impact on the game. Jeb, in what ways do you think trading Harden will help the Sixers going forward?
The James Harden era is officially over in Philadelphia, and it was It was weird. There was some really great moments. There's some not so great moments. I mean, last year alone, he had 2 unbelievable playoff games in the second round. Carried us to victory. And then he also had some games where Game 7 last year in the second round where he completely disappeared. And I don't know what really happened. I mean, he's a type of player where you never know what you're going to get on your night. Some nights you're going to get the James Harden that is a Hall of Fame, and who's unstoppable almost. He can sink any shot, he can move, he can do everything. And then you just have nights where James Harden is completely non-existent. He looks like he has nothing in the tank, and I don't know if that's healthy and if that's sustainable to put on a team. It's just not. And his era in Philadelphia was certainly something to behold, sure, not in a great way. In all, I feel pretty good about the Sixers. I mean, I don't think they are championship caliber. They haven't given us any reason to believe that. But overall, they're a team that right now I think that they are a better all-around team, especially for the future. I mean, James Harden took up a ton of money. You didn't know what you were going to get. You didn't think he was going to play. And this is the second time in the last few years we've had a player that did not want to play games for us. It's not a fun situation, and it kind of says something about the organization. But I believe in Maxey. The kid's going to grow into a stud. Joel, we all know what he can do. He's an MVP for a reason. He's had his criticisms, but I believe in him still to an extent. I really believe in this team. I believe in this team to an extent. I want to see what they can do come playoff time. That's where it's going to really matter. But I think they're in a better spot. And I'm James Harden, good luck, but I really don't think they're going to miss him that much. I mean, the guy you never know what you're going to get from him. So that's really all I can say about it. I got to give credit to Daryl Morey. I think, he's definitely had some people doubt him and people be a little angry at him. And I understand, the Sixers as an organization, I don't really have the complete faith in them because they haven't given any reason to trust in them because every year it's the same thing. But all around, I mean, you got to give him credit. He got a good return package. He got a ton off the money books. I mean, we have a ton more cap space for next free agency pool. We got some draft picks. I mean, we got Robert Covington coming back, who was a fun Sixer. I mean, there's a lot. I love the package deal. I mean, you couldn't really ask for much more. And as much as I criticize Daryl Morey at times, I think you got to give him credit for this. He did a good job. He did the best with what he could do. And now the keys are with Maxey and Embiid. I mean, they're going to have to carry this team. I don't think they're a championship team right now, but I certainly feel a lot better than I did with Harden and this whole drama right now. With James, I think part of it is it's not quite like Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, he was homegrown. He was our supposed next, LeBron-type talent. He has just unbelievable talent, high round pick. Everybody is clamoring for him. If he just develops a three-point shot, he could be the next LeBron. And he, it just never happened. And, Ben continuously just let everyone down. And, he had some decent years, but he just never... It never seemed like he cared enough. He never seemed to put enough work in. It never seemed like he and Joel really understood each other or got along. And he obviously didn't really love the upper management, the coaching. Ben Brown and him didn't get along that well. Him and Doc Rivers didn't get along that well. And you add in the fact that all around his Game 7, it was terrible. And it's a different type of situation than Harden. It's certainly a little more, definitely more bad blood between Ben Simmons and his fan base and James Harden. And that'll never change.